The riots at the Stonewall Inn in the Greenwich Village neighborhood started late on a Friday evening, June 28, 1969. Within a couple of hours, Joe Narvid's phone was ringing.
Early in the morning, I'm talking like 4 a.m., from a friend telling us that there was a riot down in Greenwich Village on Christopher Street, and that we should get down there. And so we did.
Once Narvid got on the scene, the evidence of what had gone down a short time before was obvious.
All I remember seeing is fire, because the police cars, one of the police cars right smack across the street was set on fire and was burning. So that was already a sign of seriousness for us.
Raids on gay bars, though they weren't called gay bars back then, were common. I asked Narvid why the Stonewall patrons reached the end of their rope that night. Narvid says it was primarily the drag queens who'd had enough.
That particular night, the police were extremely physically brutal to them, because one of them talked back and the other one yelled, and then they started hitting them, and that's when it turned into a real riot.
The riots continued for the next 3 days. When things settled down, Narvid says community organizing picked up.
We found out about meetings that were being called to sort of start a formation of doing something about what's going on.
Life for gay men back then was difficult, to say the least.
We were criminals. We were evil. We were defined as crimes. We can be arrested at any given point.
Things were even worse for drag queens. Narvid says that's why they took the lead on that fateful night.
It took the drag queens to do it, because why not? They had nothing to lose. They weren't going to get any better treatment, worse treatment. They were already getting the worst treatment they could get. So why not? Why not stand up for yourself? And they did.
In 1975, Joe Narvid picked up and moved west to San Francisco, where within a few years he would find himself in the middle of another watershed moment for the gay movement. While studying for his doctorate, Narvid worked as an intern for Harvey Milk.
Tell me when you're ready. Tell me ready, and open up the question.
So we set up a committee, of which I was one of the 8 or 10 people who were on the committee, to form a program that would service the gay and lesbian and trans community with mental health services.
Narvid's primary memory of Milk stems from a meeting where he and a colleague suggested opening a group home for runaway LGBT youth. Milk's sharp political instincts swung into action. He shot down the idea.
Because they'll shut us down in a minute. They'll say we were recruiting young people to be homosexuals. He was right. That's where Harvey came in his beak, way brighter than a lot of us at that time.
All these years later, it's still tough for Narvid to talk about the tragedy that unfolded on November 27, 1978, the day Harvey Milk and San Francisco Mayor George Moscone were gunned down in City Hall.
Market Street was mobbed all the way down to City Hall with candles burning, and Joan Baez was there with her singing.
Now 77 years old, Joe Narvid is still working. He's a clinician at San Diego's Naval Medical Center. As much progress as the movement for equal rights has made, Narvid is concerned, specifically for transgender members of the military.
What just happened to the transgender sailors and Marines and soldiers should not have happened and could not have happened, I believe, 5 years ago.
On the eve of San Diego's Pride Parade, Narvid's advice for younger members of the LGBTQ community?
I don't want to say be scared. I want to say be cautious.
Advice for today from someone who was there back then. John Carroll, KPBS News.